Anfield Agenda time. Craig is set for the day and the news. Sit back and relax, grab a coffee and chill, and enjoy the shenanigans tonight. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch-alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch-alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, 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 Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda.
What is up, my friends? Happy Halloween to you all. And as you can see, I've come dressed as Arne Slot crossed with the Michelin Man. So, you know, what's up? How are we? I hope you've all had a lovely day. Thank you to everyone that watched the David Lynch video earlier on, by the way. Appreciate your support. And look, I know I didn't ask him about the contracts, but I had to give him one video without asking him for more contract updates because there isn't really any, and I knew that, so there was no point in probing him about it. But don't worry, I'll be back at it asking him from Monday about them, give him a little week off, you know. So tonight we're going to talk about lots of bits and pieces. Aurelien Tchouameni, Omar Marmoush. We're going to be speaking about some very impressive words from Frank Lampard, to be honest. Jurgen Klopp as well. He appeared on Tony Cruz's podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about what Klopp will have to say on there. And as always, whatever else you guys would like to discuss tonight, the floor is yours. I want to just say a very quick congratulations, by the way. Nick, one of the regular contributors to our Discord group and to our chat, himself and his wife welcomed in their second child today. 3:30 a.m. birth all the way over in Atlanta in the United States of America. Love from us all, mate, and congratulations to yourself and your new addition. And we hope that Mammy and Baby are doing well and looking forward to catching up with you soon. So congratulations on that one. I do like to start off with a bit of good news where we can. And we've had a couple of births recently, haven't we? We've had a couple of people in the chat who've been welcoming in new additions to the world. And if you're one of those people as well, congratulations to you. So, how are we doing? We all good? It's nice knowing we're in the quarterfinals. And look, we haven't been live since the draw. So I guess I want to start off by asking, are you happy with the draw for the quarterfinal of the League Cup? If you don't know, we are drawn to play away at Southampton. Probably the easiest opponent, with due respect, the easiest opponent we could have gotten. But, you know, you would prefer a home game. So another long trip for those travelling Reds who are awesome in their support of the club. So I'm buzzing about that one. It's a handy enough draw. And, you know, we should be progressing to the semi-final if we show up and perform. So for me, it's a good draw. The other games in it, well, we'll go through them in a moment as well, just to see how you guys feel about them. The highlight of it probably being Spurs against Manchester United. I think it's Arsenal Palace, if I'm not mistaken. And then Brentford, I can't even remember who they were drawn against. In all honesty, I just can't off the top of my head. Jordan Hunnable, thank you, mate, for gifting 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Very, very kind of you indeed, Jordan. Thank you, sir. Surely we get to Newcastle. Thank you, bro. I knew there was forgetting one of the big hitters. Yeah, so Brentford, Newcastle, I think it is there as well. So, yeah, thank you for that one, my man. Yeah, I'm happy with the draw. Look, you don't know what way the semi-final's going to go. There's still some good teams in the competition, and it's certainly not going to be a stroll into the final. But you'd have to say semi-final or quarter-final draw not being too harsh on us. Last ball pulled out of the hat as well last night. Always look for a home draw because I know a lot of people are in the Auto Cup scheme, but this is probably the next best thing we could have gotten. So I'm buzzing about it, and it gives Arne Slot a chance to go deep into a cup competition at the start of his Liverpool reign. Mark, you're so kind, mate. Thank you so much. Mark said, much love to you, Sabrina, and the kids. Absolute gent, as always, Mark. I can't wait to come over and catch up with Mark as well, actually, next month. Well, it's nearly this month, isn't it? It is next month, but it's nearly this month for our live show in Liverpool. Now, I'm not trying to say it's close to selling out, but we are seeing a pickup in ticket sales as we get closer to the show, which is always the case. So if you want to come and see us in just over 2 weeks' time, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow in Liverpool, you can get your tickets with the link pinned to the top of the chat or in the description. If you ever have any questions about it or anything like that, please feel free to email us, contact@anfieldagenda.com, and I'll do my best to answer them. Right, so Mbeumo over Marmoush, Russell. That's a big call, bro. Now look, I like Brian Mbeumo, and I can absolutely understand why people would suggest Mbeumo. It's a good suggestion, and there's a lot to admire there. I think I'd prefer Marmoush, though, if I'm being honest, mate. Especially if they're looking around the same price there or thereabouts. Similar age profile as well. But I'm not going to slate you on this one at all, Russell. I absolutely respect Brian Mbeumo, and I respect your thoughts on why he'd be a good fit as well. Rachel. So, I want to know one thing. Firstly, Rachel, thank you for gifting the membership. But secondly, was it James that was waving at you last night? Because I was wondering about that. You said your husband was at the game and you thought you'd seen him waving at you from the away section. So, I need to know, Rachel. Was it James? GG said, hey Craig, love from India. It's 2:20. Wow. Would really appreciate it if you started earlier. No, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but this show has always been a late night show since we started it, which is why we do put out the other bits of content during the day. But it suits my family, to be honest with you, more than anything else. So I do appreciate your support. I do understand where you're coming from. But on this one, we're going to have to keep it as it is because, you know, it is the late night agenda. It was. Nice, Rachel. Nice. It was Rachel's husband that was giving her a wave. Well, in. We like that. I hope he enjoyed the trip as well. Jamie Edwards said, saw the David Lynch video, saw a comment about you making a decision on something. Yeah, so, again, I'm not the one bringing this up, by the way, so people don't forget me if you're watching this back. Somebody asked me about the future, my future, a while ago, and I said that I was... You know, I go year to year, every year, and they asked me had I made a decision, and I said, yes, I have made a decision, but I just want to sit on it for a few days just to see how I feel about it before I cement it by talking about it publicly. So, yeah, don't worry, mate, it'll all become clear soon enough. I just want to sit on it for a few days just to make sure I'm comfortable with my decisions, and then we'll go from there. Right, Adam Brown, thank you, bro. Said, hi Craig, hope you're keeping well, mate. I am. Do you know what, Adam, actually, on today, it's my kind-iversary, is what I call it. So, 24 years ago, tonight, I started dating my now wife. So, we are together 24 years, which... the idea of anybody that isn't my parents or, you know, blood related to me putting up with me for 24 years is a lot. So, you know, special shout out to the missus as well. So he said, hope you and the family are keeping well. Sorry for bringing up MG, but he's vile telling people to seek medical advice for having a different opinion to him. Nowhere near the gentleman that you are. So I've tried to speak about Goldbridge for years, mate, and I've tried to tell people of my own experiences dealing with them, my legal issues, and many others. And look, all I can say is, he's a piece of work. And his dismissive nature towards some of his viewers, comments, super chats, I find particularly distasteful. But, you know, for some reason... he's got a big audience and people keep going there. So, you know, he's obviously doing something that people are clinging on to. but I'm going to keep being me. And I hope that, you know, by continuing to do the right things, being myself, put my own personal twist to it, that we get ourselves to where we want to be and get our community there. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from, though. I do. You know my thoughts on the man. David Massett, thank you, bro, for your super chat again. Very kind. Said, good luck, Craig, to you and Lee Gunner on your new podcast. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's going to be the Red Mist podcast, by the way. So if you want to give it a follow on TikTok or anything, the account is up there. I think it's Red Mist Pod, if I'm not mistaken, on TikTok, or it's Red Mist Podcast, one or the other. So yeah, we're going to start that after the November international break. I'm just working on the back end stuff for it at the minute, looking to hire an editor and a graphic designer and a few other bits and pieces to make sure we're good to go. But yeah, look, I can't wait. It's going to be lots of fun. Myself and Lee Gunner telling it like it is, you know, and yeah, it's going to be fun. Can't retire with the new podcast and all the new people involved. I'm definitely going to be doing the Red Mist podcast next season. So my decision about Anfield Agenda is based off Liverpool content. It's not, I'm never stepping away from, or have no plans anytime soon to step away from content in general. I want to be involved in content. It's my living at this point as well. But it's been a very difficult last 12 months regarding lots of stuff around not being a local Liverpool fan and a few other things. And it's really taken its toll on me. And the disrespect and the door shut in your face from others inside the camp, it gets tiring. So, you know, as I said, I've made my decision. I'll talk about it in the future. But for now, you know, let's just focus on what's here now. Tonight, the news. And of course, happy to talk about the pod as well if you'd like to. Jordan, thank you again, mate, for your super chat. Although I gifted those membership, it's a sad week with Ten Hag being sacked. That guy was one of the best managers in the league. I'm just glad that he's sacked because he was doing us bald people dirty with his fraudulent ways and his silly takes. And you know what? I think they're getting a good coach in Ruben Amorim. I think it's going to take a while for him to get United where he wants them to be, but I'm certainly feeling more nervous about United becoming somewhat back to where they were with Amorim than I was from some of their other appointments. If the Ahmed said, Craig, you're doing a Trent on us, brother. I'm not really. I just don't want to say something and then change my mind. So that's what I said. I'm just letting it sit so I can figure out if I'm comfortable with what I want to do or not. That's all. You know what? I'm not the one bringing it up, to be fair. I'm only answering questions. So, yeah. Look, I don't have Trent options. There's nobody there with a multi-million-pound contract waiting in the wings to give me. So, yeah, it's very much a different scenario. But I'm not trying to string this out or anything. I need to be comfortable with it first. So, let's get into the news, because there is a lot to talk about tonight. If you were with us earlier on for the David Lynch video, you would have seen that we spoke about Aurelien Tchouameni, and the reason I brought it up today is because there's a couple of reports coming out of Spain that suggest that Real Madrid are running out of support for Aurelien Tchouameni and that they may well look to cash in. And I brought it up with David because part of me wondered if we'd still be interested, because under Jurgen Klopp, of course, we wanted Aurelien Tchouameni. He made it clear he was going to Madrid, and that was that. But things have changed both for him at Madrid and, of course, for us with a new coach. And I didn't feel like he was a natural fit under Arne Slot because, again, like with Turo Endo, when we brought Endo in, it would have worked under Jurgen with the style of play Jurgen wanted. So I asked David, and he agreed. He doesn't think it's likely that Liverpool would look to revisit Tchouameni because it's a different style of footballer to the way that Arne likes to play. So interested to know your thoughts on that one. I mean, look, that's going to be the first poll of the night, actually. 1 second. Because initially I was excited and I thought, oh, Tchouameni, we have a chance. But then when I thought about it, it's probably not the right fit anymore for us. So I'm going to ask what you guys think. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Right, so I'm going to ask Do you still want Tchouameni? Simple as that. It's a yes or a no. Am I just checking my spelling on his name? Actually, 1 second. Houa. Yeah, cool. I have to double check my spelling there. Right, so we'll leave that one running for a while, and you guys can let me know. Right, a couple of messages to get through. A couple of super chats and viewer messages. 1 second. Chris, and thank you, Chris, for your continued support of the channel. Chris said, "Evening, Craig. Will you be doing more live shows in the future? Would love to meet you one day." Yeah, most likely. In what form they take depends on what happens with the channel. But yes, we'll definitely stick to doing a few bits. I enjoy the live shows, particularly the ones we do in Liverpool. Look, I've enjoyed them all, but I just felt really calm in Liverpool for some reason. So I certainly hope so. If nothing else, we'll do meetups and stuff like that. But I do always appreciate kind people like yourself, mate. Thank you. Adam, thank you for your super chat. Adam said, "Thank you for all you do. You never fail to make me laugh and always cheer me up when I'm down." Hey, mate, that's a two-way street. As I've said before, you guys do that for me as well. Some days I come on in a terrible mood because of other stuff in life, and I'm within 10-15 minutes I'm smiling and laughing. So appreciate you as well, Adam. Thank you. And one last one here. Hopefully you stay with us for a long time, Craig. Thank you, Gio. Appreciate your kindness as well. But look, let's get stuck into the actual news tonight. There's plenty of time to talk about me in the future. Right, so on Tchouameni. So yeah, me and David Lynch don't think it's a good fit anymore with the new gaffer coming in. But we'll see how the poll gets on and see what you guys think. Now look, this isn't anybody saying that Aurelien Tchouameni is not still a very good footballer. He absolutely is. And I definitely have no qualms about him choosing Madrid over us in the first place. If somebody's dream move is to Madrid and they get the opportunity to take it, I have no problem with that whatsoever. So we made his move to Madrid. And it isn't going as well as everybody would have wanted. And I've seen a few Madrid fans in the comments as well saying that Camavinga is more their preferred player there, and that they like Tchouameni, but they would understand as well if he was sold. So it looks like, maybe that opportunity is there, but I just don't feel like it's a natural fit for us anymore personally. But he is still a very good player nonetheless. Tchouameni, no. Camavinga. Oh, look, if I had the choice as well, I would absolutely prefer Camavinga. I think Camavinga's a wonderful footballer. Look, Tchouameni's not too shabby, but I just don't know at the minute. I just don't think under Arne he's what we need. If Jurgen was still here, I can tell you 100% I'd be saying yes. But I don't know under the new gaffer if he's the right fit. Why are we looking at another forward when we need a defensive midfielder and not a defender? Club baffles me. So, I will explain in a moment, Ashley, what I know anyway, mate, about the Omar Marmoush stuff. Don't worry. But what I can figure out is the other half of it. So, I'll get onto that in a second, I promise you. But look, we are still looking at other positions. Don't get me wrong. Again, David saying that if he was to pinpoint one area that maybe Liverpool will be looking at in January, central midfield, or perhaps if something came up around defence, if somebody wanted to move on, like Gomez, then maybe we need to replace. And by the way, I hope, and I'm not on Twitter, so I hope there's not much crap on there towards Kwanzaa. He needs to be supported right now. As Liverpool fans, with a young centre-back, we need to get behind him, not be rinsing him or undermining him or belittling him. He knows he made a mistake. It is what it is. He'll come back again. He's a 21-year-old centre-back or 23-year-old centre-back. So, don't add to it, is what I'm saying. Ellis Moore said, rumour going around that Verge has his contract sorted. Oh, please, yes. I hope that's the case. I really do. Nothing would make me happier than start to see the club tick off these contract extensions one by one. And Virgil certainly feels like the easy one. Am I kicking myself? Please stop. Yes, I'm rocking my chair. I am. And that's sorry, Cohen. I'm aware. I'm hearing sensory issues, mate, as well. So if I'm annoying you with that, buddy, I apologise. It's a comfort thing for me. Sorry, mate. I rock in my chair a little bit to make myself feel a bit more at ease. So I'll try and stop, mate. And I appreciate where you're coming from. Right, so on that, let's move on a little bit before we get to Marmoush, because there's something from Frank Lampard that caught my eye today and really kind of made me just go, shit, whoa. So Frank Lampard talking about the best player in the world. A few comments here from Frank that say, Mohamed Salah should be the number one for what he's achieved over the past few years. Mohamed Salah should be one. This is on camera. Mo Salah should be one for what he's achieved over the past 7 years. Wow. Did not expect Frank Lampard to be that supportive of Mohamed Salah and that much of a fan of the great man. So for me, the fact that he wasn't even in the top 30 in the Ballon d'Or rankings is a disgrace. There's no way I'm believing there's 30 better footballers on the planet than Mohamed Salah. So really nice, kind words there from Frank Lampard towards Mo, and fair play. There was a couple of posts as well on social media starting to again talk about the real disrespect from the Ballon d'Or towards Salah. Like, I think the highest he's gotten is 6th, which absolutely astounds me when you consider the consistency and the level that the man's been playing at since he's been at Liverpool. Where's Van den Berg gone? He went to Brentford, mate. I think it was about 25 million quid, if I'm not mistaken, to Brentford. I was disgusted with the conduct of Liverpool fans bashing Kwanzaa yesterday as if it's his fault for the 2 goals. David, it's a real bugbear of mine, mate. Look, I'm critical of players, and I don't hide away from that. But you never see me carry it into social media, and you never will. And that pisses me off. Look, we have a forum here to talk about a player and talk about a performance and give our honest views. But that's where it stays as far as I'm concerned. So if you take your frustration and anger onto social media, into somebody's DMs, and start slaughtering them, I have to question, what are you hoping happens there? Like, if you profess to be a Liverpool fan and you're slaughtering a young Liverpool player, what outcome are you hoping for there? Because I can't see how any good can come of it. It can only be negative, and it's not a good look either, especially towards potential incoming young players. You know, we're not talking about somebody here who's 27, 28, 29. We're talking about a fledgling career at centre-back. And his age for a centre-back, it's baby. You know, it's really young. So he knows he made a mistake. He doesn't need people on social media to tell him. And look, it's fair game to say he didn't have a good game, or to give him a low score in your player ratings, or to say he made a mistake. That's all true. But let it be that. Let it stop there. You know, don't carry it forward, because people are getting too quick now to rush to judgment, to go over the top in their hate towards players and their vile comments towards players. And I don't understand why. It's like, for some reason, and I can only speak about our fan base because I don't really pay much attention to many others, it seems to be a growing trend where somebody has to be scapegoated all the time. And the most worrying thing about these are that once this narrative around a player has been formed, it's very difficult to shake off. We've seen that before with the likes of Jordan Henderson, Adam Lallana. Once that narrative gets formed, these lazy fuckers won't change their views. That's it then. They're in this ecosystem of crap, and they just don't change their mind. So I would say to these people, get better content, get better sources, listen to better podcasts, watch better YouTube channels, read better journalist work, because it is getting to a point now where we're going to be undermining our own players, and I don't see the point in it. Ilias said, Craig, do you still want to sign Tchouameni? I would sign him tomorrow, yeah. If he shows any indication that he wants to move, and again, that's the key word here, is that indication from him. Yeah, of course, I'd do it tomorrow. But I don't know. Sometimes when I'm chatting with David, I wonder, does he know something more about it? Because we keep coming back to Tchouameni. We keep talking about a willingness from the Liverpool side to revisit this. But, you know, I'm just wondering, maybe does he know a little something I don't? And I hope he does, because I'd love to see us do it, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So, on Omar Marmoush, and thank you for your patience as we get to this point. Today, Build have said, According to Bild, Liverpool have officially registered their interest in Omar Marmoush. Liverpool have approached the player and management directly, and they're now aware of their intentions of signing him. Now, that's a big call from Bild, right? And it follows on from, I think, Florian Plettenberg and others speaking about Liverpool's interest in Omar Marmoush. But what I don't know the answer to, and I think it's a perfectly reasonable question for anyone to ask, is what does that mean for the players of the club? Is he looked at only if Salah goes? Is he looked at if Darwin or Jota doesn't work out? I don't know. That I can't give you the answer to because I really don't know. But I'm happy with the link. I'm happy with the calibre of the player. As David Lynch said earlier on when we spoke, he's playing at a higher quality league than the likes of Gyökeres, who has done it in the Championship. He's done it in the Portuguese league, but doing it in the Bundesliga in Germany, I'll be very happy if we sign Marmoush. Again, we spoke about his star rising in Egypt as well as home country, where they're all tuning in to watch his games, much like Mohamed Salah. I'm sure if we needed any type of what's the word I'm looking for here? If we needed any type of reference, I'm sure Mohamed Salah would be very quick to talk to Arne Slot about the positives of Omar Marmoush as well. So, thinking about this, right, and I'm going to be blunt because that's the only way I operate. If I was a Liverpool fan right now and Omar Marmoush was going to come in and I had to pick who we'd replace, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to say Jota. And here's why. Not because I don't think Diogo Jota's a good footballer. Not because I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool. It's the stop-start nature of the injuries. So I think he's missed about 101 or 102 games in 6 years for club and country, Diogo Jota. Something like 400 and something days out. So for that reason, he would be the one for me that I would look to potentially sell. I'd keep Darwin. I'd put Mo on a new deal. And if we needed to sell somebody, it would be Jota for me. Just for the reasons I've said. Not because I don't rate him, because I do. But I got to be honest, those injuries... You can never go into a season thinking you're going to get 30, 35 league games out of Jota. And you need that consistency for me in your attack. So, as I said, I don't know how it pans out with regards to our forward line. But if I was looking at it, I'd be looking to maybe look to cash in on Diogo Jota because of the inconsistencies around injuries. And that's the only reason why. George Edwards, how are you, my man? George said, hi Craig, hope you're doing good. Whatever happens in the future with your channel, you'll be forever a legend. Thank you for everything. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. But look, as I said, we'll deal with all of that in the future in due course. Let's check back in on the poll for a second. Because we said, do you still want Tchouameni? So we've had 700 votes. So we'll leave that till we get to about 1,000. But it's close. It is very, very close. 53% now say yes so far. They would still want Aurelien Tchouameni. 47% saying no. I'd be in the no camp on this one, if I'm being honest. For the reasons I set out earlier on, I just don't think stylistically he's as good a fit under Arne as he would have been under Jurgen. So I'm going to start another poll now to speak about Marmoush and who you think may have to make way. I just don't know how to word it, but that's going to be the next poll. I'm going to speak about our attackers and I'm going to ask, if we had to lose a player to sign Marmoush, who would you sell? Or who would you let go, I guess? You'll Never Walk Alone 2.0 said Baleba or Zubamendi would be better. Certainly Carlos Baleba, that's a relatively new link for me anyway. We start talking about him over the last couple of days. I think we'll get to see him at the weekend for Brighton. He's an interesting player. They brought him in from Lille, I think, for about 23 million. Still very young. Attracting interest not just from Liverpool, but other Premier League and European clubs. So you just, again, got to credit the business that Brighton do as a club. David Massett said, and thank you, David, for your super chat, it's a pity about Jota, our most natural finisher. He's a fantastic forward. And he's a really intelligent footballer. It's just the injuries for me. And that's it. It's just relationships on the pitch are so important. And not being able to have a consistency of selection for the big games because of, you know, the little injuries he picks up. Some of them just really unlucky, by the way. People falling on him in challenges and stuff like that. Like, he's out now because somebody fell on him. You know, it's not because his hamstring went. He's out because he's got bruised ribs because somebody fell on him. Ali, thank you for your 1 month membership and appreciate your comment of H. I'll just say you're cheering on my surname with that one. But either way, Ali, thank you for your membership and thank you for being with us. Would I take Alan Varela? I would. I don't know about Arne Slot, but yeah, I like Varela from Porto. One of the next big things of Argentinian football, I think, if I'm being honest. So yeah, when we seen those links at the very end of the summer transfer window, I wasn't at all displeased with them. Now, it turned out not to be true, of course, but he is a name that's been kind of floating around for about a year or so, maybe even a bit longer. Joseph said, thanks. I want to say thanks for you being a vent for my stress about exams lately. Thanks a bunch. Hope you and the family are well. I hope the exams have gone well for you, mate. And look, we're all good. Thank you. At this end, all good. Praveen, consider this warning one. That's 3 Victor Gyökeres comments in a minute. I've already spoken about Gyökeres as well. It just doesn't look like he's on the radar. You know, speaking with David Lynch about him earlier on, and doesn't seem to be on the radar at all, to be honest. And I can understand why after hearing what David was saying. You know, he's done it in the Championship at Coventry. He's done it in the Portuguese League. But it's still a step up to come into the top tier of the Premier League. And, you know, I wonder, is that why maybe we haven't seen clubs tripping over themselves to pay the release clause and get him out? Do you know how many foreign squad places there are? If I'm not mistaken, there's 2, Keane. But don't quote me on that. Last time I remember having this conversation, I think we had 2. So who's this? Of course he isn't. He needs money. Are you talking about me? If you're talking about me and you're talking about whether I'm stopping or not, I'll be making money one way or the other, mate. If only you knew how much money I could have made by giving up this channel with the offers I've had over the past year or 2. Trust me, I've been offered a lot more money to not do this and to do other things like radio and other things. So I've never said I'm walking away from content. But you don't know anything about me. So please don't speak on my behalf because, you know, you're not me. So, you know, you don't know me. And you don't know my financial background, and you don't know anything about my lifestyle, and you don't know what I do or don't need. So leave me deciding about my future to me, if you don't mind. Has it been reported how much Real Madrid would want for Tchouameni? No, not that I've seen anyway, sorry. No, it could have been reported somewhere, but all I can say to you is I haven't seen a number. I would imagine, though, they're going to want at least what they paid for him, if not maybe even more. So you're talking 70, 80 million, something like that. Right, let's end this poll and get to the second poll. So we asked, do you still want Aurelien Tchouameni? And what is a very close poll, 54% have said yes, 46% have said no around the idea of Tchouameni. Craig, would you say Twitter is one of the worst media platforms? It is the worst, bar none, that I'm aware of. Like, I haven't been on some of the really dark, shitty ones, but yeah, mate, I wouldn't go back on Twitter for any amount of money. I've been off it about 3 years now, and I wouldn't go back near it. So, let me just get this one. Did I miss something? JC. Did I miss something from JC? 1 second. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up. Did I miss JC gifted memberships? If I did, JC, sorry, your name's up there at the top for 20 gifted memberships. Apologies, JC, if I missed that, mate. It didn't come up on my end, so thank you for that one and sorry for missing it. So, I'm going to get the poll up now about Marmoush. So, I'm just writing this out, bear with me. Da-da-da. Okay, so just writing out the options here, folks. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, let's go with this one as well. Right, so I'm going to say, who would you move on in order to get Omar Marmoush? Because I think we'll all admit that if we do look for Marmoush or any other forward, it will probably be because Liverpool expect or want to move somebody on. So I'm going to give you 4 options and say, who would you move on to get Marmoush? Apologies, by the way, if you can hear my dog barking in the background. There's fireworks gone off outside, and as you know, dogs aren't very happy with fireworks because of the loud noises and stuff. So I think he's just freaked out a little bit. Torben, thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Latest on Trent. Sorry I missed David Lynch update, said Neville and Moody. I didn't ask him about Trent with regards to a contract extension because I knew there was no updates on it. But I will be talking about Trent in a minute, Neville, because there was a bit of an update on potential interest in Trent today from outside of Madrid. So I'll come on to that in a moment, mate. Billy said, hello, Craig from Boston. How are we? No matter what you decide, we'll be there for you and your family. Thank you, mate. Look, as I said, I'm not going to be coming out of content one way or the other. So, you know, I want to make that really clear. I will be involved in content going forward no matter what. Because, you know, it is my livelihood. But as I've said, I just need to be comfortable with my place in the Liverpool fan content world. You know, there's only so many doors closed in your face that before it starts to, you start to question yourself. You know, is it me, or is it the fact that it's a closed shop and I'm not a local and people are just trying to keep me away from their audience, perhaps, let's say. Would I take Ryan Aitnuri? Yes, absolutely would. I think he's a great left back. Him, and I'm starting to pay more attention to the guy, the Kuiper at Club Brugge as well. Craig, did you see my message? I was speaking about Gyökeres, not you. Just want to let you know. Oh, my apologies then, John. Sorry, bro. My apologies. I was looking at your message. I did think you were talking about me, mate, saying that I wasn't going to stop because I needed the money. Again, sometimes I just see that little one comment and I have to try and figure out what it is. So, appreciate you clearing that up and thank you. Any update on the Man City issues? No, I don't expect any either, Mr. Roger Rabbit, until the case is over. You know, there's privacy issues and all that stake here. Now, I don't like the fact that this is all being done in private. It feels grubby to me, and I don't know what it is that football has against transparency. Because when these things are dealt with away from the public eye, it always feels like there's the potential for nefarious activities and stuff to go a little bit murky, shall we say. So yeah, I'm not impressed that it's all private, but them's the rules in the Premier League, mate. So we have to wait for the verdict on the whole report. Non-locals contribute to the club running. I know, mate, I know. But we've reached out over the years to pretty much most Liverpool channels, whether they're local or not local. And we've worked with some and crossed over with some others. And then there's other ones who are very much arrogant in their behaviour towards us. And no matter what we do to try and build a bridge, they just look down their noses at us. And it pisses me off, quite frankly, because it didn't used to be that way. You know? It's only because we have a platform now that people are starting to close more doors in our faces and badmouth us and form opinions about us, having never watched a second of the damn content. So, yeah, as I said, it's tiring when you're constantly running uphill and you're not playing on a level playing field. And and you're just not getting presented with any opportunities that others in our industry in the same boat are getting. It just pisses you off because you constantly feel like you're having to work harder to get views. You're having to work harder just to be on a level playing field with people. And it's tiring. It's tiring. I'm not going to lie. It's fucking tiring. Your competition now, that's why. But you see, that works the other way as well. Like, if I do content with another Liverpool channel, and it's reciprocated, and like we go on theirs, they go on ours, it works both ways. We're also showing these people to our audience and introducing them to our audience. So if you're worried about somebody coming in and nicking your audience, well, then you need to start looking at your own content a little bit more. Because I never have any fear of bringing somebody onto our channel and they're going to run off with my audience. Not going to happen. Because I'm confident in what I do. And I'm confident in our audience and our community. So I guess it speaks to their own insecurities. But it's also very against the whole you'll never walk alone aspect that the whole club and fandom is supposed to be about. And there is an unspoken two-tiered system that many people feel pissed off about, but it never gets spoken about, you know? And when you do speak about it, you're called a wool, or you're all the usual lazy bullshit that gets thrown at you. So, yeah, as I said, I just have to decide if I'm ready to keep going with it or I'm going to just move on. But again, we'll figure this out together as we go along. Like, imagine being told by another Liverpool prominent outlet, oh, it's not the right vibe for us. Like, the right vibe? Motherfuckers, we both watch Liverpool and we talk about Liverpool. What's the vibe? It's just annoying. It's frustrating. You'll never walk alone said, great Liverpool channel, admire your true dedication. Thank you. Look, I always look at it like this, man. My dedication is nothing compared to people I've met over the years. You know, I keep saying this and I'm only going to repeat myself, but I've come across people who make sacrifices the likes of which, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't make to watch sport or football. People who drive miles out of their way to go to supporters clubs, to go to bars, to wake up at 5 a.m, to go have breakfast and watch Liverpool, or to go really late at night into a bar in Australia. They're my audience. They're my community. They're the people that I want to speak up for. The people who are constantly just look down their noses at because we didn't happen to grow up in a certain postcode, or because, you know, we don't go to every game, or, you know, they say these things to us like we have an option to. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you don't go game. Well, how am I supposed to go to the game? But get tickets. All right, I'll buy tickets. How do you buy your tickets? Well, I bought them directly from the club or one of the corporate hospitality packages. You're pricing us locals out of the game. We just can't win. There's just no winning on this side of the fence. Sounds like Cop TV people said it's not our vibe. I don't even know who Cop TV is. So, no, it wasn't Cop TV. I don't even know who the fuck that is, in all honesty. Again, no disrespect meant there. But yeah, as I said, it is what it is. I think it's that you're more of an interest. Oh, I know it. I know I'm better than all of them. Make no mistake about that. They're absolutely right. Because I'll go on their channels and their audience will see very quickly what they're missing and that they're getting subpar content. So don't stop this for don't make this for me not be thinking we're good enough. No. We are the best at what we do. I've no doubt about that. You know, I'm really happy with our level of content, and I'll back myself to keep my audience, and I probably will nick some of their audience, but you know, I'm not worried about the other way around, because I look at it and I think that honestly there's enough interest for everybody out there, whether you're a fledgling YouTube channel or podcast, or whether you're an established one. I think there's enough for all of us. Are we going for Marmoush? I'm thinking more and more as each day goes by that it's now, this is my personal opinion for a second, right? Don't take this as me saying this is from a journalist or anything. My personal opinion is, yes, I think we've a sincere interest in Omar Marmoush. And anybody who I've spoken to about the idea in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Vague sense, I said yes, that the Marmoush interest is there. Now, interest is one thing, but does that lead on to a bid? I don't know that. But I feel like there's a very good chance that Marmoush is somebody we're considering strongly. So, if you said to me now, here's 50 quid, do you think the club are going to pursue Marmoush? I would probably say yes. But I don't know under what circumstances. I don't know if it's because we don't agree an extension with Mohamed Salah. I don't know if it's because the club feel that Darwin or Jota or somebody else may move on. That I don't know the answer to. Scout Stewart said, Craig, finally getting my passport renewed to go to Amsterdam next year for my 23rd birthday. Enjoy. Well in. I need to get mine renewed as well, actually. Thanks for reminding me. Mine's up early next year. Do you think we lack creativity up front? Because if we have no Salah, I find we bet on moments of brilliance to bail us out. Look, no Salah in any team you're gonna see a bit of a drop off, but I think we showed again last night that we have strength in depth as well. You know, we've seen Cody Gakpo start on the left last night and grab himself 2 goals, 2 brilliant goals. Then we've seen Lucho move from the right over to the left. Then later in the game, he grabbed himself a goal as well. So I wouldn't say we don't have creativity. No, I think we do. I think there's one position that's still sort of up for grabs, and that's through the centre. And I don't think, like, if I said to you, pick the starting 11 for Liverpool right now, everybody's fit, pick your best 11, I'm guessing it would look something like Alisson, Trent, Robbo, or Costas maybe, Kanade, Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, Salah. You would probably debate on the left side between Diaz and Gakpo, and then through the centre, probably debate between Darwin and Jota. So I think the left is a debate for a different reason, because we've 2 high calibre players that can play on that side. But centrally, I don't think anybody's grabbed the opportunity by the scruff of the neck and made that position their own yet. So I think that one is still somewhat up for grabs. Most you'd spend for Marmoush. I think in pounds, I would be confident somewhere around £45 million. Somewhere around that for Omar Marmoush, I think would be enough. Are you watching Bray Wanderers Athlone Town on Saturday in Dalymount at 4? I'm not going to watch it, no, but I'm sure I'll be keeping an eye on the result. Have you seen Aberdeen going unbeaten? Great to see my hometown team doing very well. Breath of fresh air for Scottish football. So I'm also somebody who... See, I grew up in an era where it was Celtic in Ireland, and then you had Rangers. And I always wanted to be awkward. So I always told you that I wouldn't say I support a team, but I've always answered Aberdeen in that question. Because of Graham Hunter, if I'm being really honest. So yes, I have seen Aberdeen's great start to the season. 2-1 victory over Rangers as well. So yeah, they're doing really well. Drew with Celtic before that, and a really entertaining game a while back as well. So I'm keeping tabs on it, but I don't watch too much Scottish football. Already subscribed to your Clips channel, Craig, said Cohen. Just saw the ad. All the other Liverpool content creators are disinteresting to me. Thank you, man. And if you haven't subscribed to our Clips channel, please do, by the way. It's ticking along nicely. Just, you can scan that QR code on the screen or just search Anfield Agenda Clips. So let's check back in on this poll. So we did ask, who would you move on in order to get Omar Marmoush? And so far, 44% of you guys are saying Diogo Jota. 36%, now 35%, back up to 36%, back down to 35%, back up to 36%, are saying Darwin Núñez. So we'll leave that poll up for a while longer. If you can, please do vote, because we'd love to get as big a sample size as we can here. We were linked with Forrest Murillo. Anyone seen much of him playing? So we were linked with him last summer, yes. He's a good defender, but I just don't know if he'd be worth the price tag that Forest would ask, which was rumoured to be upwards of £50 million. So that much I would say, not sure. But yeah, I think for me, preferential order for positions are central midfield, striker, or forward. And then I'm looking at either left back or a left-sided centre back to come in and give Verge a breather every now and again. The Cop TV have close to 50k subs. Okay, I just still don't know who they are. So, again, that's not meant as a disrespect. I just don't know who they are. That don't take that as anything other than I don't watch much YouTube. We finally got an easy draw with Southampton, but I wanted United at home. I wanted United as well, Irfan, but I will take Southampton away. It's probably the best draw we could have gotten, other than a home draw, but against the opposition. I think they're under pressure in the league. Their manager is not having a great start to the campaign. So I think, and I hope that we could go and add to that misery and book a place in the semis. Oh, so that's the guy, Alex. Oh, he's an arsehole. Sorry, Alex is an arsehole. If that's the guy from Cop TV, he's an arsehole. Did I mention that I think he's an arsehole? And the reason I think he's an arsehole is because he did me dirty. He clickbaited me. I went on his channel once and then he tried to do me dirty saying Craig wants to sell Mohamed Salah. Absolute shithouse thing to do. So yeah, I remember who he is now. But yeah. Yeah, whatever. Sell Szoboszlai and Jota and Robbo, they're the most inconsistent in the team. Well, yeah, Robbo's form is definitely pause for concern. I think when we're talking about Andy Robertson, we have to be respectful because he's earned that respect. And for me, I'm not at the stage yet where I would want us to sell Andy Robertson, but I would certainly feel like if we brought somebody in, it would be to start to look towards the future and maybe a succession plan. Maybe start to manage Andy Robertson's game time a little bit. I don't feel comfortable now thinking that Robbo can do 2 games a week at this point. And in my preview, which is coming out straight after this stream, I have made a change and gone for Costas at left back in the preview because I think the team selection last night was a hint that maybe Costas will play. Mark said, in my opinion, other content creators who have access to the club are just arse kissers and yes men. They don't say what the fans feel like, unlike this channel, which is a voice for us fans. Look, it's not my place to say that others do or don't talk against the club. That's for you guys to decide and viewers to decide. But what I will say is, I don't know of anybody who has been critical of the ownership of the club in any way who has gotten access. I think that's the fairest way I can say it. And people will say, well, why would they give access to anybody who, questions their ownership or isn't happy with something? And my answer to that is because it's healthy. Because it's healthy to have dissenting voices. You can't just have a whole array of yes people who just agree with everything that you say. I wouldn't want that in my business. I wouldn't want that from my teachers in school. I wouldn't want it from my politicians. I think it's healthy that you are asked difficult questions at times, or you are told when something isn't right. Honesty is important to all of us, and we will always speak what we believe to be the truth. I don't expect everyone to agree with it, but if I think they're taking the piss on something, I feel like I have a duty to say, you're taking the piss on this. Maybe others feel differently. I don't know. Maybe some people just feel like they don't want to criticise the club because it's something that they love. And I can respect that as well. My gripe is not with the people who have access. Not at all. I wish them nothing but happiness. And they're all living their dream. And I don't begrudge them a second of it. My issue is with the club being pussies. That's my issue. Is that the club just don't want anybody who might ask something awkward, or don't want to highlight a voice that isn't 100% behind every aspect of the club. That's the point I tried to get across here, not to slate anyone else. Right, on Trent, because I did say we had a bit of conversation about Trent. This kind of caught me off guard today. The Anfield Bulls put out a post that said, and it's from El Nacional, a Spanish paper, and they say Trent Alexander-Arnold has snubbed Real Madrid and Barcelona are the front runners. Everything indicates that Barcelona are getting closer and closer to the signature of Trent. Real Madrid are now focusing on Pedro Porro, according to this piece. I don't know where to go with that, in all honesty, because to me it's much of a muchness. I don't want to lose them, and if it's the Barca or Madrid, it still stings and hurts, and I don't care which one it is. I just don't want to lose them. So, I've not been able to put much meat on the bones of that interest or that article, but I'm trying to find out if there's anything more to it. But I think the most pertinent question here for us fans is, how can none of the contracts be extended yet? It does feel like this is dragged on too long. We need some type of resolution. And, if you want to start with the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest one to get done, then get it done. Just get it done. Because uncertainty is nobody's friend here. I have a couple of super chats I need to catch up on. Fan base on Kwanzaa, shocking, behaving like Arsenal. I called it out last night, Nevelin. I tried to speak about it in the match reaction, in the player ratings video. I tried to speak about it when I spoke with David Lynch today, and I tried to do my best to explain why it's counterproductive to be abusive towards Kwanzaa. Look, nobody's saying he didn't make a mistake. Nobody's saying that he can't have done better in certain situations. But the way modern fandom is, it's like, how do I describe this? Okay. Bear with me for a second. I have this view that there's a generation of young men that don't have correct role models and that are looking to the wrong people for guidance, advice, and support. And I think that also happens in the football content world, where people go and think that it's hip, cool, or on point to be an asshole and to be get out of my club and all this other crap that it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because nobody would say that in real life. Nobody would act like that in real life. And people need to understand that their actions do have consequences. And sometimes those consequences are a young, insecure footballer feeling unloved or feeling like my own fan base is turning on me. What hope have I got here? So I would say to everybody, look, you've every right to critique a performance, but leave it there. And be careful about the language that you use when you're talking about it, because this whole get out of my club, sell them now, all that type of crap, it's just so pointless. It doesn't do anything productive. So yeah, I'm sad that that's happened, mate, over the past 24 hours, but I hope he knows and the players know that there's far more people that, yes, might be disappointed in the performance, but ultimately understand, we need to put an arm around Kwanzaa now and show him why we're a different type of fan base. Harry said, other creators are stale unless they bounce off rival fans. You, Craig, you're like McGregor. You don't give a fuck. Great show, man. Interactive and honest. Look, I do care. I just show respect to people that show it back. And if you're not showing respect to me and you're looking down your nose at me, then fuck you. That's the way I look at it, mate. It's simple. I do it in my normal life. I do it in my content life. In general, I will show everybody respect until a point they don't show it. And in that case, you're dead to me. Fuck you. Simple as that. Love the positivity you have towards Kwanzaa, Craig, young talent. Look, I'm not afraid to go in on a player when I don't think they're playing well. But I've always spoken about a young player coming through at the club. Regardless of who it is, There's always, and go back and watch my streams, you've probably heard me say this, there's peaks and troughs, you know? There are going to be times where they come in and they look like a world-class talent. And then there are going to be moments where they drop in form. And you speak to any coach and they'll tell you this is not uncommon. It's why you often see young players that break through immediately at United or Liverpool or elsewhere, taken out of the limelight for a little bit, put back into the 21s, worked with the manager on the training ground. Because when you play week in and week out for a club like Liverpool, Manchester United, you're going to have to be ready mentally, emotionally, physically, and experience is a key part of all that. You know, we often talk about putting the youngsters into the matchday squads for the League Cup games and taking them away for European games to gain that experience. So Kwanzaa hasn't played really much this season. Started the first game, tactically was changed at halftime, Kanade was brought in, and he's done brilliant. So it's not at all uncommon for a player not in a match rhythm to come in and make a mistake or an error of judgment. You know, it's natural. So just get off his back is all I'm trying to say to people who are going in on him. Get off his back and don't become what we all despise, which is a toxic stain on the rest of the club. New Zealand's in the house. Lyth, how are we? Welcome in. Lovely to have you with us. I love this comment from Lee. Lee said, great performance from Jaros last night. I've watched that save back. You know the one I'm on about. The one where he was, I think a dinger was it with the header? Where he was going to his right and then he had to backtrack to his left and he touched it onto the post. Oh my days. Oh, what a save. He was honestly brilliant. You know, to think that he is behind Kelleher, behind Allison, barely played for us this season, and he's come in and he's produced that performance. Nothing he could have done about either of the goals. Absolutely not on him. Yeah, very, very impressive from Jaros last night. And as I've said before, we're blessed that we have such a great goalkeeping department at the club. It really is a destination, and I can't remember his name, so excuse me, but David Lynch did mention another great young goalkeeper coming up to the under-18s at the minute. So if you watch the video we put out earlier on, he mentioned his name in that one. I'm embarrassed to say I've already forgotten, so apologies on that. Jason, how are you, bro? Thank you for your super chat. He said, good day, Craig. See what I did there, mate? You know, straight in with the lingo. On holiday in my missus' home country of New Zealand, it's beautiful. Loving watching the Reds under Slot. Agree with you on everything on young Kwanzaa. Get behind him. New Zealand absolutely looks sensational, mate. New Zealand always holds a special place in my heart, but for a very weird reason. So, my wife's family tried to emigrate to New Zealand when she was a teenager. But her father failed a medical because he lost one eye when he was in the army. He got a bit of shrapnel in his eye and he lost the eye, so he wasn't able to get into New Zealand, failed the medical. And I often think about it because I wouldn't have met my wife. You know, my life would have went in a different direction altogether. So yeah, New Zealand's always been somewhere that I've had a special fondness for refusing my father-in-law entry, because if he had have gotten in and they had have settled over there, I never would have met my wife. So I'm grateful to the New Zealand government for denying my father-in-law the visa to come and live there, because you made my life better. So thank you, New Zealand, for that one. Would you let Trent go if you were guaranteed Frimpong? No. Because honestly, I look at Bradley as the future at right back, and I would rather Trent stays, because I don't think Bradley is. I think he's maybe a year away from being ready to play all the time. He's getting there, but he's not there just yet for me. So no, I wouldn't. I think Frimpong's just a very different type of player as well. He's more. I think of him more as a winger than I would as a fullback. That's the one. Corner Mishkler. That's the gentleman. Anyway, yes. I think David, he said 18s. He may have said 21s, mate. So you could be right. But That's the name anyway. Miskler, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, good young goalkeeper according to David, worth keeping an eye on. And by the way, is trick-or-treating just dying off? Because this is like the third year in a row where very few knocks on the front door. I've got to ask you a question. You know the way I'm a shithouse, and I am. I fully admit to it. I've got to ask you a question. You know when you're out getting the sweets for the trick-or-treaters, are you like me and you buy the stuff that you like as well? Like the chocolate you like, the sweets you like, the crisps you like. So is that if they don't come to the door and you've got loads of stuff left, it's the stuff you want to eat anyway. Because I do it. I'll openly admit to that. I definitely do. I'm there getting chomps and Freddos and, you know, all the stuff that I want to eat if they don't show up. Yeah, curly whirlies, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just wondering, am I the only asshole that does that? Or is everybody like that? Skittles for Adrian. Yeah, the sour Skittles are nice. Mike's like that as well. Good man, Mike. I'm glad to see you're all admitting to it anyway. Well played. Mary, yeah, Mary's like that as well. Yep, fair play. That's proper order, isn't it? You know, you're getting the good candy anyway. You know, you're getting the good chomps and Cadbury Freddos and all the good stuff. But if you don't knock, it's going in my belly. So yeah, tonight I'll be sitting there, face full of chomps and Freddos and curly whirlies and all the good stuff. Good. I thought it was just me. Yeah, well played. Well played. Keep doing it as well. That's the one. My name, Cram, said, oh yes, I have leftovers, I'm eating it. Proper order as well. Why not? We should get Dedic or Kunde. I don't think Kunde is a good fit for us, if I'm being honest, mate. You know, he's just not... He's not tall enough to be aerially dominant enough which we need from our centre-backs. I always thought Kunde felt like more of a Man City type centre-back, maybe. TAA said, Tchouameni can't defend. He's not a good CDM for Liverpool. Well, I'm agreeing with you, mate, on the second part of your comment, and that was where we started tonight's stream. You know, I spoke with David earlier on, and we were saying, like, okay, fair enough, maybe Tchouameni is available at the minute, but is he still somebody that Liverpool should be looking at as a good fit under Arne Slot? And, you know, I think between myself and David, we erred on the side of no, he isn't probably still a good fit. So for that reason, I wouldn't look to bring in Tchouameni if I was Liverpool now. Trick or Treat is pretty new in Norway. You don't like it? Oh, it seems to be dying off here, by the way. You know, every year there seems to be less and less youngsters going around, and I wonder, is it because, you know, when I was growing up, my mum was really strict, and when she went shopping each week, we got one large bar of chocolate and there was 6 bags of crisps bought in the house. That was it. You know, she cooked meals every day. There's loads of food there, but minimal sweets. You know, she tried to keep us eating as healthy as we could. And then Halloween became that time where you let loose. You know, you had the bag full of candy and you hid some up in your room and you kept it away from your parents as well. Apart from the father tax, because, you know, your dad has to make sure the sweets aren't poisoned. And coincidentally, he just happened to take all the good ones as well, the fucker. So, yeah, I think it's a dying off thing, because maybe it's, I don't know, it's not as exciting to kids anymore to get a load of sweets or whatever, because we're giving them more anyway. David said it's massive in Italy. Nice. I need to get myself to Italy then. I love trick-or-treating and Halloween. I love seeing the little kids come around, and I love seeing the costumes, the creativity and stuff like that as well. It's it helps foster that sense of community as well, doesn't it? The kids took all my Maltesers, the little gits, said Michael Manning. Oh, mate, who doesn't love a Malteser? They're delicious. Swizzle lollipops. I've had one knock, Craig. Loads left. Jeez. So in our house, Tony, there was Chupa Chups, Freddos, Twirls, Chomps, Curly Whirlies, and I think there was Mike and Ike's Jelly Beans, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Sabrina bought, but yeah, they're all going to be wolfed by me and Sabrina later on, after some herbal infusion. Right, So I'm going to go back through some stories because there's more I haven't read out yet. About touting, the club have apparently started to make a real stance against touting, and I'm going to read something out to you now which will give you far more context than I'll be able to give you. So, Liverpool's attempts to crack down on ticket touting saw them close around 100,000 social media accounts while handing over 75 lifetime bans last season. The club's zero-tolerance policy on all forms of ticket touts led them to taking decisive action to deactivate a huge number of accounts linked to what they say was suspicious online activity or identified as bots. A further 5,670 accounts are currently under review by the club for suspicious activity, while 136 indefinite suspensions were also handed out across the 23-24 campaign. Liverpool have confirmed that the vast majority of the lifetime bans and suspensions were handed down for unauthorised selling of season tickets, memberships or hospitality tickets that were in breach of terms and conditions, and the club have continued to increase their awareness around such issues to help supporters avoid falling into the pitfalls of online ticket touting. Now, that full article in its entirety is on the Echo if you want to have a read of it. It's written by Paul Gorst, so credit to Paul Gorst for that article. And for me, look, it's always laudable that the club look to crack down on touting. But one question that I've seen come up quite a bit, particularly on The Athletic in the comment section, is the fans who are coming to Liverpool to try and go to a game, and one game, are finding it nigh on impossible to get a ticket to that game without going to a secondary market or without going to the expensive hospitality side of things. So, of course, full credit to the club for looking to crack down on touting, but in this day and age, it feels mad that there isn't a mechanism for those fans looking to... Because I'd say to you right now, if I wanted to go to a Barcelona game, 10 minutes online and I'd have tickets. If I wanted to go over to the NFL in the States and let's say go to a Raiders game, I'd pay through the nose for them, but you can buy these tickets directly. It's very difficult, nigh on impossible, to get a ticket to go and watch Liverpool. So I think the club need to look into that as well, and the whole ticketing system, because I think most people feel like if they're going on a once-off game, they probably expect to pay somewhat of a premium. But for me, as an example, me and Connor wanted to go over to a game this season, so we decided that we'd go over to the Lille game in the Champions League in January, and each of our tickets, which is in a really, really shit part of the ground, let me say. It's in the Carlsberg dugout, but it's way down the end, right in the wings of it, with a, questionable view. £380 each for the ticket. So that's what? Nearly €900 for 2 tickets directly bought from the club to the Carlsberg dugout. A week later, I get an email, and I don't want to say who the email's from because I don't want to get anybody into trouble just in case. But the email was from somebody who I know is absolutely credible with ticketing, and they're able to sell tickets to the same game in the same part of the ground for £150. And I just thought, so I got scammed by going to the club and paying £380, but if I had waited, I could have got tickets to the same game in the same part of the ground for £150. That just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I think the club need to look for a way for that once a season fan or the casual fan maybe to be able to get access to a ticket or two. Not at the expense of locals or season ticket holders or anything. Of course, there needs to be a strong local element there. Absolutely. But it's a comment that comes up over and over again to us, and I'm sure in your own lives as well. How do you go and how do you get a ticket? How do you go about going to a game? It's very, very difficult. Samuel said, nah, with this poll. Well, I'll give you context on the poll, Samuel. So the context is about Liverpool's interest in Omar Marmoush. And I think most of us would agree that if we signed any forward, be it Omar Marmoush or somebody else, that it's because somebody has left or is going to leave or the club is concerned about somebody leaving. So the reason we put the poll up was to ask people, if you were in charge and Marmoush was coming in, who would you be looking to move on? or who do you think maybe should make way for that space in the squad? That's it, mate. There's no underhanded thought process or anything there. And I'll be honest, my answer was Jota. That was my answer, because I think you can't count on Diogo Jota to be fit for a season. You know, you want continuity and consistency in your main partnerships around the pitch, your centre backs, your midfielders, and certainly in the forward line as well. And I don't feel that any of us could guarantee we'd get 30 league games out of Diogo Jota in a season. So for that reason, he was my answer. So we've had 1,150 votes on it, and we're going to end it there because we've gone over the 1,000 that we needed. So the results are that with 38%, Diogo Jota is the one that you guys would most likely move on. And now, of course, there is more context in this as well. If you're moving on Salah, well, you're probably losing them on a free, so you're not bringing the club in any money. So I think maybe people have looked at it and thought, well, if Jota left, Liverpool will get a transfer fee there, and that might help as well. So maybe that added to it, I don't know. So yeah, it was Diogo Jota with 37%. Actually, Darwin on 37% as well. So tied between Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez. 19% for Mohamed Salah and 5% for Luis Diaz. So yeah, there you go. Have I heard all read Liverpool wants to collab with me? I haven't. But as I said, email us. Anybody who ever wants to do bits and pieces with us, if we can fit people in or have time in the schedule, always a pleasure. So again, I don't know all the Liverpool fan accounts that are out there, so please excuse my ignorance in that regard. Don't understand how Darwin was voted as much as he was. I don't know either, because at the moment I'm very happy with Darwin Núñez and how he's responding to the opportunities that he's got since Diogo Jota's injury. I think Darwin is really starting to look much more... Okay, I'm going to say much more of a team player, but I don't mean that he was selfish beforehand. What I mean is it looks like he's now understanding the movements of his teammates, and look, his assist for him and Mo, the back and forth assists between them both is phenomenal. They really have a really good understanding of each other's movements and that. So yeah, I'm surprised to see Darwin there as well. But I think some Liverpool fans just still aren't convinced by Darwin, and again, look, I understand where they're coming from as well. Sam Lewis said, it's clear that Darwin isn't good enough to win the Champions League with. Well, I don't know how it's clear. Again, I really don't, because last year we weren't in it, and this year we are, and we've won 3 from 3. Now, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't know how we can sit here and say it's clear we wouldn't win a Champions League with them. You know, go back and look at teams that have won European Cups, and there's been far worse players than Darwin in them. What I would say is we haven't seen any type of a prolific spell yet from Darwin Núñez, which, you know, is probably where you're going with it. All Liverpool FC Talk said, have you seen the rumours that VVD is a done deal and due to be announced soon? I didn't see them, mate, but somebody mentioned it to us at the start of the stream, and I hope that's true. I think, look, we'd all be delighted, wouldn't we, to wake up and see that Virgil signed a new deal. So I certainly hope it's true. Yeah, I hope it's true, mate. Be brilliant, wouldn't it? Right, Jurgen Klopp. So Jurgen Klopp, speaking on, I think it was Tony Cruz podcast about Sergio Ramos, and he said, the foul on Salah, we all know that he made it with great pleasure. I never understood his mentality. When I had a player like that, I made sure they left the club. So Kloppo not holding back on his assessment of that incident and his assessment of Sergio Ramos in general. That last line there is pretty harsh. When I had a player like that, I made sure they left the club. I'm not disagreeing, by the way. I very much agree with Kloppo. It was a shithouse challenge from Ramos, and not his only one in that game either. But I love that Klopp will speak his mind on stuff like that. Craig, do you think we should sell Harvey Elliott? No. God, no. No. I think Harvey Elliott is a really tidy footballer, and I hope that he can come back from this fracture and get some opportunities. But no, I wouldn't be selling Elliott, not at all. Jesus Christ. Why does our club not give a shit about the frame stuff that they sell? I mean, I've just been sent something that is an Arne Slot number 10 signed Liverpool shirt that the club are selling, and Dave O.C. Copp's trying to flog as well, because obviously he's got an affiliate deal or something with the club there to make a few bob. And the absolute state of it, honestly, and it's not the first, second or third time. People in our Discord group will know what I'm talking about. The state of some of the stuff the club put up there for fans to buy at extortionate prices, and as somebody who's framed a lot of jerseys in my life and was involved in memorabilia before, the state of the stuff that they put in there, it's crooked. It looks like they don't give a shit. It look like even the image that they use to promote it is terrible. They need to be better, because they're charging Hollywood prices for these framed shirts, and honestly, I wouldn't accept it if it was sent to me. The state of it. Do you rather the new badge or the old one? The old one. You're a fan. The old one. Yeah. Look, I can understand why the club have gone for just a live bird. Because it's easier branding wise on certain platforms. So I understood their thought process behind it. But I personally just prefer the old one. Casper said Dave O.C. Cop is always flogging his stuff. It's all over my timeline. Again, I'm not on Twitter, and so I don't see it. But look, I have no problem with anybody being an affiliate for the club and selling stuff. My comment wasn't about Dave O.C. Cop. It was about the state of the jersey. I'd be ashamed to send that to somebody, let alone use it as the graphic, the main graphic to sell these things. It's shocking. It's shit. I hope no one buys them, because you deserve better as a fan than spending your hard-earned money on that. It's not even straight. Like, it's terrible. So, the origin of the Virgil van Dijk deal is bullshit. So I've just seen where it's originated from. I've had people looking into the background of it while we've been streaming, and I've just been sent where it's come from. Bullshit. I'm sorry, like, I wish it was true, but this is once again a case of another wannabe account with no name, with a vague LFC name in it, with a bullshit profile picture, trying to bait and lie to Liverpool fans. So these type of accounts do my head in. Yeah, hope it. I'd love it to be true, but yeah, the source on this one is nonsense. Did I watch Virgil's interview with Rio? I haven't had a chance to watch it, Jack. I'd seen some quotes from it though, but I haven't had a chance to watch it just yet. I did see one quote that he said, at the age that he's at, Saliba is a better defender than Virgil was at the age Saliba is now. So fair play to Virgil for that. I mean, Saliba is a fine defender. But I haven't had a chance to watch it. No, just seen some of the... Am I talking about Indy Kayla? No, that's not where I was sent this from originally. No. But look, if it is Indy Kayla, equally as nonsensical. So yeah, look, I'd wait for a Paul Joyce, a David Lynch, a David Ornstein, a James Pearce, the usual. I'd wait for it to be confirmed by journalists. Let's just say that. Actual journalists. And would you like it if we had a tweaked version of the other logo that's on the Elite Green kit? Yeah. I love them. I love do you remember the centenary logo for the 1992 shirt? I love that. I thought that was awesome. Right, so I'm going to go back over some more of the news for people who are coming in a bit late, by the way. Arne Slot has been nominated for the Premier League Manager of the Month for October, by the way. So, congratulations to Arne for that nomination. What a great month it's been. I think the only blotch for the month for us was the draw with Arsenal. So, congratulations to Arne for the nomination, and hopefully he can pick up that award. Right, so I'm going to recap all the news for people that have been in a little bit late. Started off with some news that came from Mateo Moreto and Jorge C. Picon. From Anything Liverpool said, Aurelien Tchouameni is running out of support, and Real Madrid are already open to listening to offers for him. Now, I guess the question there is, do we still need that profile of midfielder? And when we were talking with David Lynch earlier on, myself and David kind of figured, no, he's not still the right fit for what we need now. So I don't expect Liverpool to be going in for Tchouameni based off those factors. We spoke about Jurgen Klopp on the Tony Cruz podcast, talking about the fact that Sergio Ramos, he said, the foul on Salah, we all know that he made it with great pleasure. I never understood his mentality. When I had players like that, I made sure they left the club. Then we spoke about comments from Frank Lampard, which, I mean, fair play, Mr. Lampard. He said, Mohamed Salah should be the number one in the world for what he's achieved over the past few years. Mohamed Salah should be one. This is on camera. Mo Salah should be one for what he's achieved over the past 7 years. Wow. Well done, Frank Lampard, because not many people have been as fulsome from outside the Liverpool family in their praise. So well done. And again, Mo not to be in the top 30 in the world in the Ballon d'Or seems like an absolute farce as well to me. Then we spoke about Liverpool and the ticket touting and the steps that they've made, having around 100,000 social media accounts closed around ticket touting. Then there was a story from El Nacional in Catalonia, I believe in Spain, that have said Trent Alexander-Arnold has snubbed Real Madrid and Barcelona are the frontrunners. This goes on to say, everything indicates that Barcelona are getting closer and closer to the signature of Trent, and Real Madrid are now focusing on Pedro Porro. So, look, for us Liverpool fans, that doesn't make anything any better, does it? You know, we want Trent at Liverpool. So, whether he goes to Barca or Real Madrid, it's still going to sting like hell for us. So, I'm hoping it's all rubbish and we hear something positive on Trent soon. But, look, if I'm being honest with you, having no inside information on it, my gut feeling right now is he's leaving. I'm preparing myself for that mentally. I hope it doesn't go that way. I certainly don't know anything you don't know on it. But my own gut is, I feel like if he wanted to stay, it would have been resolved by now. And if he said to the club, look, I want to stay, let's get the number sorted out, I don't think it would have dragged on this long. So, you know, that's just my take on it anyway. Then, according to Bild in Germany, Liverpool have officially registered their interest in Omar Marmoush of Eintracht Frankfurt. The piece goes on to say that Liverpool have approached the player and management directly, and they are now aware of their intentions of signing him. So that then led us to the poll that we had up earlier on, asking if Marmoush came in, who do you think is likely to move on? And it was a joint answer between Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez with 37% each that you guys voted on. And then we spoke about the rumours around a new deal for Van Dijk. But look, I'm going to need better sources than that before I feel comfortable talking about it. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, I have a couple of bits and pieces that I want to ask you guys about. If you haven't, please do sub to our Clips channel, by the way. It only takes a second to do so. You can find the link in the description of this, or you can scan that QR code on the screen. Also, our live show is only 2 weeks away now, so if you want to come and see us in Liverpool, you can get your tickets with a link pinned to the top of the chat. I just can't figure out, lads, how we're at this point now where not one of these contracts is renewed yet. You know, we had September international break, we had the October international break, and now we're coming into November, and no headway, no announcement on even one of these deals. You gotta wonder what's taken so long, because I'm sure we can all understand maybe one of them being complicated or difficult one, but Virgil seems to be chomping at the bit to want to stay at the club. I don't understand how he hasn't signed a new deal. I don't understand how the club haven't got that done. It's worrying, and I don't see the need for dragging it out. So, you know, how much longer before we really start to panic? Because it's great being told, don't worry about it, it's in hand, people are working on it. But again, I think it's a very fair question for people to ask, why is it taking so long? Why? And the answer isn't going to be because they're complicated deals, because that's bullshit. We've seen other deals get sorted out quickly. We've seen, obviously, Trainee only signed a new deal. We know talk to Ibrahim Kanate is close to a new deal. So what's taking so long? Like, to not even get one of them done is... I understand the concern that Liverpool fans have on it, because, you know, worst case scenario happens here and we're up shit creek. Cohen said, Craig, I figured out why the contracts aren't sorted, FSG. Well, to be fair, I think this is going to be down to Hughes and Edwards. I think they will have been given the parameters of what to work in, but, you know, I just don't know how we got here with Trent. It's madness. Dude, I agree. It's frustrating and a distraction, most definitely, said the Faceman Network. It is. And uncertainty just doesn't help. Uncertainty allows narratives to be formed about the club maybe not being going in the right direction, about the players not believing in Arne Slot. These are the things that opposition fans and non-Liverpool friendly media or whatever will be putting out there. You know, if you're a player coming into Liverpool and you're looking to maybe come in January or the summer, and you don't know the futures of Trent or the futures of Virgil or the future of Mohamed Salah, you're going to be concerned about the club and their ambitions. So I don't get it. I don't get what the fuck is taking this long. And the stress it's causing Liverpool fans is nuts as well. Like, every day we're all talking about it non-stop and concerned about it. So TBR Football have said that Liverpool scouts have been watching Jarell Haddo of Ajax, and he's also under consideration by Arsenal. So, yeah, thank you for that, Mark, for sending that on to us. Morton said, been saying it for ages, I feel this is Edwards letting go of our top earners, changing the wage structure at the club. So, let's play this out then for a second. If that's the case, and Edwards wants to move on some of the top earners, I don't see how in the longer term this doesn't become a problem, because they're the top earners at the club for a reason, because they're the most important players, or some of the most important players, and they've earned the contracts. So what signal does that send to another player coming in that Liverpool don't want to pay the top bucks for a proven talent if you're at the club? So I don't know if I think that's the narrative. I could understand maybe people feeling that Edwards is reluctant to give out longer deals, maybe to people in their mid-30s. I mean, you know, you can probably understand that, but again, you know, how hard is it to say to Virgil, 2 years, mate, and we have an option of a third there. If everything's done great, we'll trigger it and we'll have a third year. I don't see how that's an issue, you know, and I can see, I'm sure Virgil would be happy enough with that. Like, you're not going to let this lad go, are you, over an argument over a year? Like, find some common ground there. Like, it just seems madness. Win the league and all three can go, said Talk Through Football. We're still up poo-poo creek, mate. Like, let's say we lost all three, which I don't think will happen. do you have faith that the club are going to replace them adequately in the transfer market? Because I don't. I have faith that they'll buy people who they hope can get to that level. But I don't think they're going to go out and buy people who will come in and immediately have the same positive impact as the ones that will be leaving. I don't trust. Because look, how can I trust it? You know, look at what we've done in the market. We've always looked for cheaper options unless we had that Coutinho money. Morton said, I agree 100% with you, but I think they want players on lower wages, players who want to play for the club, not only for the big bucks. Well, I would argue that all three of these players could get a higher wage elsewhere. You know, we know for a fact that if Virgil or Mohamed Salah wanted to go to Saudi, Paris Saint-Germain or elsewhere, that they could probably get a higher wage than Liverpool are going to pay them. So I don't think it's to do with money. I really don't on this one, personally. I think it's more a case of committing to players who maybe the money men at the club feel might have a drop-off in form in a year's time. And then you're stuck with somebody maybe with 2 more years to go on high earnings. And then that becomes a problem. But even if that is the case, I still don't understand how it takes this long to come up with your answer one way or the other. I want to go back to something I spoke about the other night around Saudi Arabia and Newcastle, because the Eye put out a piece to say Newcastle United face another financial squeeze after the club's owner, Saudi Arabia's PIF, confirmed that it would be scaling back its foreign investment. Now, I spent a bit of time yesterday looking into the scaling back of foreign investment, and it is the case. They're going to be looking to invest more money inside Saudi Arabia now to grow that economy and attract people into the Saudi economy. So they are scaling back. I think they said somewhere between 20 to 30% of their overseas investments. And it doesn't surprise me at all that maybe Newcastle will be one of those. And do you remember what I've always said? Because I don't pat myself on the back much, but did I or did I not say when these type of owners, as in wealth management funds or sovereign funds, did I or did I not say that they could just as easily get bored like that and fuck off? And here we are now, a situation where Newcastle fans are starting to hear that maybe their owners are bored, or their owners don't feel that they can push the project on far enough, and they're looking at scaling it down and moving on. I warned about this because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in Europe with other clubs. So people always want the shiny new thing and always look for the sugar daddy. But these dudes can just piss off and they don't care about the culture of the club or the fan base they're leaving behind. It's just numbers to them. So, yeah. Let's wait and see. Benji, and I spoke about jeopardy also on top of that, because other owners can't just take that loss. They have to try and make a profit and keep things ticking over well. Somebody with a whole nation's wealth behind them can take the hit on a few billion on a football club because there's never any pots of money there. And a business person or business woman or an investment company couldn't take that hit. So that's why I keep saying about jeopardy as well. We have the best goalkeeper, centre back, right back and right winger in the world. Get the deals done, said Ben G. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate your super chat, mate, and your support. Are we not just numbers to FSG? We are. But my point, Dave, is they're not going to just say tomorrow, I'm bored of Liverpool, and just disappear off and stop investing in it, because it will hurt the value of the company. Now, they might just sell up Liverpool, but my point here is that they bought into Newcastle, and there was talk of building Newcastle into this behemoth of a club, into a destination, awaken the sleeping giant, all this other stuff. And now that they haven't been able to just spunk money on everything, and they've had some barriers, well, it looks like they are one of the potential casualties to the Saudi investment fund scaling back. At least this is what's being reported in the Eye and elsewhere. So, again, we are just numbers, but it is also an important business to them that has to make sense and has to make money. Unlike, you know, if Ireland bought, like, let's say the Irish government bought, Valencia, and decided that they wanted to just piss money into Valencia to have this vanity project, and then they decided that no, actually they want to invest that money elsewhere, and they just take the money out of Valencia, and Valencia just gets sold off or assets stripped to get the money back, sell off the best players, sell off the training ground, sell off this. They don't care. But it's less likely if you have owners like our owners, or owners who are in this, yes, to make money, but for better reasons. I've just done a recap, mate. Sorry, just did one 2 minutes ago, so I won't be able to go back over everything. Now, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody, but the preview is going to come out when this stream is over. So the Brighton preview is going to be coming out in about 10 or 15 minutes time, so do keep an eye out for that one. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:45 for the late night agenda. And then, of course, don't forget we're playing on Saturday at 3 o'clock, so we'll be starting from 1:45. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you again for your support. Do drop a like for me if you can before you head off. And don't forget to check out our Clips channel if you get a chance. Thank you so much. See you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of Halloween. Bye-bye.